Hi, Scorpio Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2022 Astro Update. It's Raina here. Well, here we are, last month of 2022, and let's see if we finish with a bang. You're going to have a lot of energy in the third house, which is represented by Capricorn in your chart and is a friendly angle to you called a sextile, which means that the affairs of that house are more easily manifested. It's not creating a blockage like a square or kind of extreme back and forth like an opposition. So on the third of the month, Neptune goes direct in the fifth house, which is the house of pleasure, the house of love and creativity. Neptune can be a very idealistic, dreamy influence when it's in any house, but when it's in the fifth house, it can really increase the romantic factor of life. And there can be this sense of otherworldliness as it pertains to issues um, surrounding love, and the creative projects can be imbued with this um, re- real, really wonderful kind of higher energy, this spiritual influence. But what happens when Neptune goes retrograde is there can be a reality check. So if somebody is if there are Scorpios out there who are artists and you have been very inspired with this transit because it's been here for 10 years. I mean, uh, that's just the general amount of time that Neptune has been in Pisces, but your mileage may vary about when it went into your fifth house. Um, but you may have been feeling that and been very, I don't know about prolific, but have created a lot of beautiful works of art during this transit. Or maybe with your love life, you have met some wonderful people, but sometimes when Neptune is in your fifth house, you may come across deceivers, people who have addictions. And sometimes when people have addictions, they're not letting you know about it. I probably 95% of the time they're hiding it, at least when you're still in that dating phase, which is really what the fifth house is about. The seventh house is the commitment phase, and that's when people they can let it all hang out because they've already got that person hook hook them in and stuff. So um, that could be kind of frustrating because when Neptune goes retrograde, it's like you have a reality check. You see things for what they really are, and sometimes those things are not pleasant. Now, sometimes they can, if you are deeply in love with someone and you're deciding whether to commit to them, it can reveal some of their flaws because, as we know, if you've ever been in love, you know that in that initial stage, it's intoxicating. Um, it's like a wonderful feeling without even having to, you know, do anything like chemically alter yourself. But it is almost like a chemical alteration, but it's coming from your emotions and you're feeling this sense of bliss. But that's just a phase, okay? You're not going to feel that way 10 years from now. I mean, you could still love that person, but it's not that intoxication. And that phase can alter reality and make somebody think that a person that they're with is something that they're not. And knowing who somebody is very important, so that you don't waste time chasing a dream. Now, it, it could be that you get out of that infatuation phase when Neptune is retrograding, and that's just how it works. Because everyone will get out of that phase at some point. So this might be the phase that you get out of it, but it doesn't mean that you stop loving that person. It might be an actual deeper love. So That could be some of the effects of that Neptune retrograde. It could be like if you've been working on some kind of artistic project that you realize that it's not workable or that's not as good as you thought, and now it's back to the drawing board. Again, nothing wrong with that, because if you're going in the wrong direction, you don't want to waste time. Um, but now you can dream big again. Now you can, have that Neptune effect in the positive sense. And in the fifth house, you could be meeting a soulmate, attracting a soulmate. On the 6th, Mercury goes into Capricorn in that third house. That's the house that Mercury rules along with the 6th house. And so, therefore, it's in its own domain. So, very talkative, very wanting to, express things. If you have a YouTube channel or a blog or something, you may be doing more videos or posts than you usually do. This could be a teaching assignment, a writing project with Neptune now direct in that fifth house. On the 7th, the full moon is at 16 degrees of Gemini. And what house is that for you? I guess that's the 8th house. That's the house that you rule, Scorpio. So you know about this energy. And this can be that you are doing shadow work. When I say doing shadow work, I don't even mean you're actually sitting down and doing something. It's really, to me, first and foremost about awareness, bringing awareness into your reactions. For Scorpio, I think a lot of that, especially with what shadows represent, has to do with vengeance. I was just reading some of your comments, some of you Scorpios, and it was kind of funny what somebody said. I wish I could remember it. Something like, uh, something about, like somebody deserving that kind of vengeance that they, oh yeah, somebody said something like, I can't sleep at night until I know that they've gotten, what's coming to them or something like that. And I thought that was kind of funny. Um, and that's a big one for you, because especially if you're a Scorpio sun sign, you may have inner planets in Libra. The rising sign, you could definitely have the moon in Libra, but not necessarily the other things. But Libra, it wants fairness. So it can trick you. If you have Mercury or Mars in Libra as a Scorpio sun sign, you may think that you're doing the right thing by pursuing justice or wanting it very deeply in another person. And the inner work is really about your own part of the dance. If somebody cheats on you and it's like, oh yeah, that person, or they leave you for somebody else. And I think that leaving, there's a difference obviously between cheating and leaving. If they have been unfaithful and lied to you, that's one thing. If they just simply have fallen in love with another person, do they have that right? Does that say anything bad about you? Does something need to be done about it? Do they need to pay for that? I mean, so some of those things, they're unreasonable attitudes that are coming from your own deepest, darkest fears. But sometimes, even if somebody cheats, there's a reason for that as well. It doesn't mean that we think it's okay and we aspire to do the same. I'm just saying that we don't have to crucify people. We don't have to wish anything negative on them. What I do, and I have the sun in the 8th house, so I consider myself an honorary Scorpio in certain ways, is that I think to myself, I want them, if they did something that was clearly wrong, I want them to understand that in some way. I want them to really embody that, understand that they did something wrong. And maybe regret doing it, but I don't want it to eat away at them. But I want them to know that they did that. Whatever they did was wrong. The problem is that some people just don't know. And they just go. And I think that really pisses us off, doesn't it? When people are just having the life of Riley, going around doing what they do, and they don't seem to have a care in the world. And it's like, and I know some of you are probably thinking, doesn't karma ever catch up with these characters? Well, maybe, but I don't know if it's in the time frame that we're looking for. And I don't think of karma as punishment. I just think of cause and effect. So anyway, um, something coming up, maybe you need to let go of something that's no longer serving you. But, I think that these full moons in the eighth house, as well as the new moons, can be very powerful at any rate. On the ninth, Venus goes into Capricorn, so third house, you might be doing online dating. How about them apples? I don't know if Scorpio people like that kind of thing, but making money through teaching, writing, communicating, harmony with siblings, neighbors. On the 20th, Jupiter goes back into Aries. So, yeah, I forgot to say that Jupiter is in that fifth house too. And now it's in the sixth house, and this is great for work matters because Jupiter transiting the sixth can give you more work than you know what to do with. A good problem to have. Now, it could be work. I mean, it could be jobs that you're just taking to pay the bills and not necessarily anything glamorous or anything that you want to do for the rest of your life. It's service to others. So whether that is your life purpose or just something you're doing to pay the bills, whatever. Jupiter favors you getting your life in order in general, which can include time management with the sixth house, and then in May of 2023, Jupiter goes into the seventh house of committed partnership, and that can be great for you. Just having all kinds of a great opportunity for a life mate. So it not necessarily in the time frame of that transit of Jupiter in the seventh, but it can open up the door of meeting people who become that person for you. But I'll be doing videos on that sometime in the next few months because we have plenty of time for that. Let's see. Also, Jupiter in the sixth house can be good for health matters. Finding the person that can help you to restore your health if it has been not so hot, or just maybe helping you to expand. Jupiter is very expansive. Expand your health regimen to, maybe you've been taking care of your diet, but then you haven't been doing anything about body movement, so you just kind of expand your repertoire. On the 21st, we have the winter solstice. Not going to acknowledge those people who are having summer solstice because I'm being a big baby. Woke up to snow outside, so so anyway, this is in Capricorn, the third house for you. And I love the symbolism of the winter solstice. I'm recording this a month prior, and it's so funny because time has been going so quickly that I remember at the summer solstice in June, that bummed out feeling that the sun is now on its way down, and this year I didn't really, it's not that bad, But it's just like I prefer seeing it gaining strength than losing it, even though it didn't get dark for quite a long time, darker earlier. But still, just a symbolism of it I like, that the sun is starting to rise and gain strength. And speaking of that, a couple days later, we have a very early new moon, an early degree of Capricorn. So supposedly, the first few days after the solstice, the sun is stationed at that same point, and then it starts to um, gain a little bit of strength after about 3 days. So they were talking about the origin of Christmas and all of that, and that kind of dovetails with that. But the new moon also dovetails with that because it's a couple of days after that solstice. So, um, we could say that this is affecting this third house and about your thoughts. So feed your thoughts positive food, and see how you can change your thoughts for the better. But really, in actuality, a lot of you may be experiencing this in your second house of earned income. So that can, think about new income streams that you want to bring in, and how that could, because Capricorn is about the long haul, because it's ruled by Saturn, Father Time. So think about those structures. It's also about structures. So, what kind of income streams can you bring into play that may really impact you? And then on the 29th, there's a Mercury retrograde at 24 degrees of Capricorn. And this can be that definitely, I would say, is likely to be in your third house. So this is Mercury's domain. So anything communication related and your website, everything could come into some kind of play, technology, some crash or something. So, the ultimate thing with transits is realizing that this too shall pass. But Mercury in particular has a very short transit. So if there are some snafus with anything related to communication, you should be able to resolve it within a month's time. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated, Scorpio. If you would like a private reading, I am promoting my double readings, which involve an hour of transits along with an hour of natal chart analysis for a special price. It's called my deep dive reading. I would think a Scorpio person could appreciate that name. And I find out what is the theme of 2023 for you. Usually when I'm doing these, it's not like one overarching theme, although the eclipses continue in your sign in Taurus, so those are certainly going to be a part. But then we have Libra and Aries, and we have a lot of very interesting things happening. So you can find out more information about that reading and my other readings at the link below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.